Hi everyone, welcome back to Job 1 for All. In this video we are going to talk about method references. Actually we have 4 types of method references and we are going to start with a reference to a static method. But basically method reference is just a syntax sugar that will make your code look prettier. And the rule of thumb is if your Lambda expression is calling only one method, you can use method reference. So if you want to see well, let's start one by one. Let's talk about the reference to static method. Let's go back to our Java 1 for all. And the second one to an instance that we have here containing object instance method basically is this one. Can you see here that our lambda expression is only inside the lambda test02 is only calling one method. So basically we can tell string, and this is the syntax, double column, then the method that is accepting only one argument, in this case length, and the same here, string to uppercase, Control Shift F10, and we have the same result as in the previous video. But let's talk about the static and let's give one interesting scenario. Let's create a new package. Let's delete test and call domain. And inside domain, let's create a class and let's call it anime. It's been a while. Now, 2 attributes, title and episode. Now, create a constructor with both attributes, create the getters, and create a toString. We can skip equals and hash code for now. We just want to focus on how we can make this work with comparators. Now, let's create another. Now, before we create another, let's create another class here. We're going to say create another package. Let's call this method reference test 01. Yes, VM. Let's create a list of enemies. New anime. Be careful with the package we are creating. CZC lambdas. Okay, so let's create one. Berserk. Number of episodes, I'm not sure, maybe 40. And then new anime, One Piece. There are a lot, I don't know, maybe 900. And then new anime, Naruto, and maybe 500 episodes. Okay, so we have a list of enemies: Berserk 40, One Piece 900, Naruto 500, and I'm going to use comparator, so I will add here new array list, otherwise we will get an exception because this list is immutable when creating this way. And Alt Enter, anime, but I'm going to change here to list. Animes, there you go. Okay, so let's say that you would like to sort this list by title. Well, you know that we could create a comparator, or we could implement a comparable inside the anime class. And through comparator, you could create an anonymous class, you could create a class separately. And now that we know how lambdas work, we can create a lambda. So for example, we can call list, the list animes.sort, and we have here the comparator that we know the signature. The signature, if you are not sure, just open the class comparator, and the signature, the function descriptor is I need to return an integer, and I'm accepting 2 of the type T. In this case will be anime. Now let's create our lambda. A1, A2, the names doesn't matter. And now A1 dot get title dot compare to A2 dot get title. So IntelliJ is telling you that you can use comparator.comparing, but this is not a method reference. We are going to talk about method reference here, so let's just keep like this. And now if I print the list of enemies, you will see that this is working perfectly fine. We have B, N, and O. Okay, pretty straightforward, but the thing is, I would like to use method reference, and I cannot use because here I have two calls. Now, how can I use method reference? And there is something pretty cool with lambdas. When you are creating a lambda, what actually matters is the function descriptor. For example, the sort, we know here that we are asking for a comparator. But look at this. Let's create another package here. And let's call this package service. And inside service, let's create anime comparator. Let's add one S at the end. And now let's create a method that has exactly the same signature, but will be static. So for example, public static int, and I will give the name compare by title. And the same thing, I need two enemies, package zzc. So I have anime comparators and one method. Going back to the method reference test, I will press Ctrl/, and now I will call enemies.sort. And if I want to use lambda expression, I have to do exactly the same thing. A1, A2, and now anime comparators dot compare by title and A1, A2. But as you can see, we have only one call, and we can use method reference for that. And one interesting thing is that the anime comparators is not a comparator. It does not pass the test is a comparator. So let's first test. As you can see, it is working. But if you try to create here a new object, new anime comparators, you will see that you will get a nice compilation error because it does not pass the test is a comparator. But when we are using lambda expression, the functional description is what actually matters. Now, if it's the function description that matters, we can do this anime comparators and then the syntax of method reference and then compare by title. And the arguments will be passed by Java automatically or automagically. And as you can see, we have the same thing working. Well, but if this works, we can even go further. For example, why not also create another method here that will compare by episode. And since it is primitive, it call integer.compare a1 get episode, a2 get episode. Maybe the name episodes would be better for this. Yeah, if you are like me, that changes your mind quite frequently, you can select here, press Shift F6, and then you just rename to whatever you want. You press Enter, and then select the accessor. Then I want to rename the parameter. And the only thing that I have to be careful is the string. It didn't change. Cool. So now that I have this, I can go all the way to my method reference, Control D, and instead of compare by title, compare by episode. So just comment this out, Control Shift F10. And as you can see now, we have episodes. Basically, they are exactly the same. So I can do some changes here, maybe 4,000. Control Shift F10. As you can see, it's the last one. So now, technically, with lambdas or method reference, it would work both ways. It's not working because of method reference. But as you can see here, if you have only one call inside the lambda expression, you can replace it with method reference, and you have a cleaner syntax. So this is the first one. Let's continue in the next video. Bye.